Welcome to Cocktails Over Coffee, a podcast that spotlights truly inspiring individuals that have taken a leap of faith by leaving their corporate careers, otherwise known as their coffee, to pursue their passion, otherwise known as their cocktail. I'm Janae Green, and I'm so excited to be here with the founder behind the brand Denimrush, also the designer, the creative, all things, Aparna Avasarala. Thank you so much for being here today, Aparna.
You are welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I always love talking to people that have started their own brands and things like that, especially because my background is in fashion. So this will be such an interesting conversation. And offline, we just talked about the fact that we had ties to the same school. So I went to Kent State University for fashion. Mm-hmm. And you didn't go to Kent State. You went to school in New York, but you studied abroad with Kent State students, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I went to the New York School of Interior Design, and I was like, I have to study abroad.
Yeah.
Because New York School of Interior Design is a very, you know what you're doing if you're going there type of school, sort of.
Yes.
And it's very focused. It's very internship oriented, and kind of you make it your own. So it's not necessarily. It's more like grad school if you were to think of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I was like, hell no, I have to study abroad and kind of have this college experience.
Yeah.
I'm from Ohio, so we found that Kent State was a really good study abroad program, and they let me come and study for a semester. So I switched schools for one semester.
That's incredible. I actually didn't even know that Kent State allowed that. So that's really good to know.
I was like,
you just asked.
Listen,
closed mouths don't get fed.
I was like, this needs to happen. How do we do this?
Yes. Okay, cool. So you studied abroad with Kent State students. You were an interior design major. You went to school in New York. And so upon graduation, what did you do? What was your plan?
So right before I graduated, I was working for Wimberley Interiors. They are, they're great. They do design hotels and resorts. So
amazing.
I was in the hospitality industry prior to, and so I was like, okay, they had offered me a full-time job, so I was like, yes, thank you so much. Wonderful. Yes. And then I was like, around the same time, I was dabbling with fashion. Just I don't know,
exploring.
I was just doing whatever. I didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
Per se. And so when I started Denimrush, it was around the same time, and it was just there was only hand painted jackets because I would do large scale paintings all the time for clients and whatever. So I was like, all right, this jacket is so boring. I was just bored. I was working on my thesis. I was bored of everything. So, I painted a jacket and I wore it around, and everyone was like, where did you get this from? Blah, 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 blah. So then I was like, okay, let's do something. Let's just start something and see where it goes. So I started it, and then I had gotten this opportunity to consult in retail design, experiential retail design. And this is when everyone's retail is dying.
Yeah.
And it was obviously when something dies, right, there's something else that
is born.
So I wanted to kind of learn more about the fashion retail industry. So I was like, this is an interesting opportunity because I'm on the other side where I'm teaching brands how to create an experience. And a big part of hospitality design is you're creating this experience for someone who's staying there, who's going to be there with what's the vibe? What are we giving them? How are they feeling? Because it was
exactly
bars, clubs, the hotel, the residence, everything, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I was just an intern, but I was gaining a lot of knowledge because I was, I got to work with a lot of higher ups, and I had amazing mentors.
That's great. You had good access to the brand overall.
Totally. What were they going to be? So then after that, I was when I graduated, I actually wound up taking the consulting job full time.
Okay.
For experiential retail design. And so I did that, and it was crazy because you were just thrown into this world of fashion, and it's kind of the worst industry. And and yet people still do it. Why am I in it?
It's honestly it is what everyone thinks it is. That is the fashion industry.
Well, I was just everyone's my big thing was like everyone was really stressed out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's clothing.
But
like,
the thing is that they like to be stressed out. It's like this weird, it's this
like
weird that they all complain about it, but they love it. They love being stressed.
Exactly. So, I got to work with Cabana and like Liberty Fairs, and Coterie, which is like where it all started. And
yes,
I would design there, of course, along with my boss Valentino Vittori, and we would design these like large scale experiences for like Coterie, and teaching brands how to communicate with their consumers, how to like change.
That's really cool.
What is the new form of retail sort of?
Yeah.
And then we got invited to go to Summit and design like what the future of retail was. So that was a really interesting experience because we also did a like audio visual sort of experience. This, like AR app, and like when you would scan it, like it would.
Oh my gosh! Wait, did you design it, or did you have a team that helped you? Like, how did you even know how to?
I did not code it. I did not code it.
Okay, I was like, how did you even know how to do that?
No. I did not code it. I had to learn a lot about coding.
Okay.
We just had to, I created all the markers, and so like we were like, okay, when someone points at this, like this video needs to pop.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Code that. Yeah, no, I did not do the coding.
Okay, I was about to be very impressed. Not that I'm not impressed, but I was about to be very impressed.
No, I designed the experience. So then, so all throughout that, I was working on Denimrush, just kind of like.
As like a side thing, did you know what Denimrush was like going to be at that point, or was it just kind of like?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea. Like I did a couple of street shows, and I would do live paintings there, and then I realized that like that's what people enjoy, like sort of like watching this like live action happening. So and that combined with like my experience with the experiential design aspect, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm hitting something. I can offer to brands more as like an experience. So I did that, and then and did a bunch of like, we would design stuff in Miami, LA, like whatever the whole night.
So cool. Yeah.
And then after kind of designing all these experiences, I, along with Valentino, we started this museum called Arcadia Earth, and it was about sustainability because he comes from the fashion industry too, and he was like, we throw away so much shit, and like it's so bad for the environment, and no one cares because everything's just so depressing and like hard to look at. So we wanted to create this like experience that was very positive and very like the Museum of Ice Cream, but like sustainability essentially.
Really cool.
So we launched that like at Art Basel, and then last year
was it a pop-up museum?
At Art Basel, yeah.
Okay.
It was like a pop-up experience.
Cool.
Then, we worked with like the One Hotel as well. We like did a pop-up experience at the One Hotel.
Really cool.
And then now it's open in New York. There's like, it's on Broadway. That was what I did last year essentially. And then throughout all of this, of course, I'm like doing these experiences with Denimrush, just trying to figure out like, what I'm doing, like what
the brand was going to be.
Right. And, learning and just like kind of gaining all the knowledge I could. And then after we opened Arcadia, I was kind of like, all right, well, so this is the time. Either I continue down this path, or like I try to, like figure something out that I want to do.
Were you enjoying the work that you were doing? Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting. It doesn't sound like the typical like graduate, get a job type of thing. It sounds like you
It wasn't. I mean, like
you took a non-traditional path.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, like. So I was like a founding partner and the head of creative for Arcadia, and it was great. It was just
amazing.
It's a lot of work,
Yes.
And at that point, I kind of was just like, all right, so either I can continue to do this, or I could just try Denimrush and just see where it goes. I'm like young, like if it doesn't work, it's fine. I have like
Yeah, you can figure something else out. Yeah.
And like you can always just get a desk. You can get a job. It's fine. Like you can figure it out. You can get a job. If it doesn't work, whatever. Let's just give it a shot.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then when I quit, we started working on a lot of different experiences. Like we worked with Sam Edelman again.
Awesome.
And then we were gonna work with a couple of festivals and kind of just like in that whole experience.
Yeah.
So we weren't necessarily like an e-commerce brand. Like we were selling some stuff, but it wasn't like.
You were more experiential, it sounds like. You did more partnerships and
more experiential.
Yeah.
More, like in-person sort of experience.
And when you say, like, when you would work with these brands, like, would it be you that you were kind of like presenting as the experience, like you doing live paintings? Yeah. What other experiences did you guys offer as a brand?
So we did, we would tie-dye on the spot. So like if anyone bought anything, so for Bloomingdale's we did that. We've done like hand painted jackets.
Yeah.
We would, like, wear the jacket and I would paint it on your back or something like that. It was like
my
really,
gosh,
like interesting like experience.
Yeah. Did you have a team or was it just you?
It was me, and then I had like a couple of interns that helped out here and there.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, because it sounds like it sounds like a bit of work.
It's a lot. It was a lot of me lugging just suitcases of shit everywhere.
I can't imagine, especially around New York City. What did you do? Did you just throw them in the back of cabs?
Oh my God, I lived on a 5-floor walk-up.
No,
so, like,
you're lying.
I had to take, and it was like in the East Village, so I was like, okay, fine, I'm in the East Village, it's okay, whatever.
Right.
But like I literally, like I have these pictures of my apartment, first of all, that are just like, it looked like Dexter's lab in there. There was just like literally plastic covering everywhere, and like there was paint dripping down all the plastic.
Oh my! Your apartment was your studio. You lived in your studio.
Yeah, I lived in my studio. So then I was like, all right, this is out of control. Whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's New York.
We did like live painting events. We did like stamping events. We did tie-dye was like our big one, but we started it like a year ago.
Okay.
And so our tie-dye is different because it's not dye, it's paint. So the big reason we did that is because dye bleeds everywhere. It's like toxic. Like you can get non-toxic dye, but it's like ethical. So we like mixed our own. We had to figure out how to do it so that I could do it on the spot, and then and then it's easy care for the customer. A typical New Yorker, like how are they going to take care of this?
Right.
So so we came up with our own blend of paint. So then when we customize it, we would just give it to you in a garment bag, and then once it's dry, you just have to put it in the dryer, and then it's done.
Oh my gosh, so interesting. And how were you like finding these different activations? Like, were you just like dreaming them up? Were you like doing them based off of things that you've seen?
I think a big part of it was like working along with the brand. Because, like we were going to do an event with Guest and J Balvin. And so sad. It didn't happen? No, because it was in March.
This was March when you were supposed to have your big month. Oh no. Okay.
So yeah, I was like, whatever, I'm over this. But with them, they had like certain motifs they wanted us to paint.
Okay, yeah.
It depends on like, what the brand is trying to like present. So that for them, they were trying to focus on this new launch. So how could they offer this like experience for, their customers? And then, we would work with we work with Wing, where we would create experiences for their members.
Oh, wow.
So, that's more on like the corporate side. I mean, think about it. You work all day long, and then you get to come to this event where you drink wine and you learn how to paint a hat.
Yeah. Yes. It's a fun, like, stress relief. It's a fun, like, mindless activity. But, okay, so what I want to know is how did you secure all these really great partnerships? Like, that's, like, you almost, like, put your marketing hat on then. And, like...
I think that once I did one...
It's kind of snowballed.
Yeah, because... Actually, they had all reached out to me, and so I was like,
wow,
where they found me from. But I'm like glad that they did.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, I think a lot of it was Instagram and just kind of like being in New York and like meeting someone and like someone knows someone else and like
exactly. And I know personally from like the events perspective, like once I see a cool activation or someone tells me about it, I like have them on my radar to like book them because we're always looking for fun things to have at our
Yeah.
events. And
Yeah.
and there's not a ton. Like there weren't a ton of
Totally.
really cool
There's
activations.
totally. And I think that with my background of like actually creating experiences for other brands, that it was like a little bit more helpful.
Yeah.
And then I had just made this deck and I was like sending this deck around to all these people. And then it was like,
Yeah.
nope, we're shutting down.
Uh,
So it's fine because now it's like I got to work on something that I never thought I would do, right? I would never thought was going to build my own customer base. I always thought I was like
yeah. So
working with B2B.
okay, so then how did Denim Rush evolve from this like event activation experience company?
So after like the lockdown started
Yeah.
in like March, I had like some sweatshirts left that I was just trying to sell because I had them.
Okay.
And so what I was doing is like literally auctioning them off on Instagram stories. I was like, all right, I got 5 left. Who wants one? And I was
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
as they sold, I was like, no one's going to my goddamn website. Like,
Yes.
whatever. Let me sell these. Like, I'm so over this.
Yeah.
So over it. And so then after that, I think that like I just got really lucky because tie-dye like weirdly like it just like became a thing.
It blew up.
Had the infrastructure to do what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just like I was like I should just make a set. I ordered the pants and then like I don't even know what happened. It just like happened. And so
Yes.
I was like, okay, like all right, now I'm doing this. So so that's how it all started, and then it's just been kind of a shit show since. It's great.
But the best kind of shit show, right? Like
Totally, yeah. I mean, I think a big part, I feel also like if it weren't for me staying home, this like kind of wouldn't have happened. Because,
yeah.
like I'm the type of person who likes to go out and be with people and like
Right.
work on like my networking and relationships, and
Yes.
that's why I felt like I was doing well in the event space and like kind of getting jobs like that. And
Yeah, you were just networking and meeting people.
totally. And so now, and so then it was kind of like, and so now I was like, all right, what is supply chain? How do you do this? Like, where is everything? Why is everything shut down? Like, how do I get like
Yeah.
big new set of contacts where it's like all people that need to call me the minute they get stock in? Like, how do you build that relationship?
Right.
You literally never met this person in your life. And then also like, I mean, we didn't have stock for like literally 2 months, and like there were
Oh
so
my
many
gosh.
orders that
From the
like,
beginning of quarantine, you're saying?
yeah, like it was like March. It was like in that May, June.
Yeah.
And just
No
like
stock.
no stock, so I couldn't sell, and so like our engagement went down, and then like once your engagement goes down, it's hard to build it back up.
Yeah.
And then
That's true.
I mean the whole 9 yards of just like what are we doing? And
Yeah. So, okay, so then at what point, though, just in this preparation to even like launch your brand full time and like really like dive into it, when did you decide it was time to like move home? And like, was that part of your preparing to do this? Was that how you decided you're going to save money and be able to afford this life?
yeah. So like after I quit my job in New York after we opened the museum, I was like, I gotta go. But I actually had moved to DC because I had family there, and I was commuting to New York. So I was like, I gotta cut all my overhead costs. I literally can't be spending like $2,000 on rent when I'm like not making money. And so I would stay there, and then I would go to New York kind of on like the weekends and kind of like continue to network and continue to have these like events. And kind of like go like off of that. And then after quarantine hit, I was like, okay, well, I might as well like go home.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm like needing to if I'm building an e-commerce business and I
Right.
need to get a warehouse, like there's so many things, and like Ohio's so much cheaper than like any of the other
Oh,
states.
absolutely.
Home and like it's
And you have
easier to
way more space instead of like living
way
on
more
top of your
space.
studio.
Exactly. And I already I had connections here. So, I'm
Okay.
working with the University of Cincinnati for like interns. They like,
And they have a great design program. Actually, that was my second choice of schooling. I was going to go to
adapt.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, I was kind of like, okay, might as well just like be here because I have like friends and like a life here rather than like not doing anything. So yeah, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, you moved home from COVID," and I was like, "No, I moved home before COVID." But like,
right. You're like, well, okay. Yeah, I know. I feel like it was like the people that.
everyone's like, "Are you in Ohio for COVID?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. I know. I when people would talk, first of all, because I was home during COVID, but I didn't go home because of COVID. I was home anyway, and I got stuck there. Which is like, so I was like, I don't want anyone to talk to me about being home for COVID. Like, you don't even know what happened.
I know, but it kind of, like I said, I kind of like didn't have that like FOMO, so I was able to work on my brand.
So did you find you were a bit more productive being home?
I mean, I guess in a way, like I had less distractions.
Because New York can be, I mean, while it can be the best place to grow your business, it's full of distractions. It's full of like, your social life, your friends, whatever. Like you dropped something because someone's like, I am doing brunch. Do you want to come? And I feel like when you're home, those distractions are a bit
pretty
less.
good about like in New York. I've always been pretty good if I was like, I have shit to do, I can't come. And so usually.
Good for you.
Because I'm usually like, I just want to know all the plans, and then I'll show up if it works in my schedule.
You're like, don't not text me, but I'll decide if I'm coming.
Exactly. It was kind of like that.
Okay.
But I mean, because like even my old job, like that was a lot of work. Like it was not only like planning it, but I like designed all the graphics along with our amazing graphic designer Laura. She's amazing. But like putting those into production, and then like literally managing all of these artists that are doing all these rooms, to construction, to building, to like, where is this, where is that, what is the experience, how are people coming in, like what, it was a lot of work. I literally like lived and slept at that like
oh my gosh
until it opened. So it was kind of like I didn't have a life anyway, so it was like
right, so you're kind of used to it.
I was kind of used to like not having a life. But but what was interesting with my friends was, and I always got sick of talking about Denimrush and like what I wanted to do, but I think everyone else was like, all of my friends, they were so excited. So like it was kind of nice to talk to them because we would like flush out ideas.
Yeah.
It felt like it was working, but I wasn't working, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, I mean, like, I think that the biggest thing about quarantine and all of this is the biggest challenge is, while I don't have much to do, therefore I am working all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like bored out of my mind. Like, because I feel like I'm not one for routines. I'm like not a routine person.
Really?
I cannot do routine.
Okay, wait, so you don't have like a morning routine, you don't have a daily routine, you don't have a schedule. Like, what do you mean? Okay, when you wake up in the morning, you just go with the flow.
Yes, like I cannot have a
wow. I'm shocked.
I can't have I mean, I probably should. I just like can't do it.
It's just interesting because I feel like most people thrive off of routines, and the people that don't have them want them, but it's so funny that you're just like, no, I don't do routines.
I can't do the same thing every day. I can't do it.
I like that though. I mean, that's a very entrepreneurial way to be though,
I guess. I mean, you should probably have a routine, and I'm like, leave me alone. Like, I think like it's a creative process for me. Like, while it not may be the best, like there definitely could make it better.
Yes.
I mean, I try to have like systems rather than a routine. So like,
okay.
If I pick that I'm going to do something, like I have to make orders today, like my orders all have like a system.
Yeah, okay.
So like it's more like that rather than like wake up in the morning, I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. I'm like, ugh, like I
Yeah.
can't do that, you
Yes.
know?
You know what I found is that I need, if I'm going to have a routine, it can't be like a 9 step routine. I had way too many steps in my routine in the morning, and I was like, sorry, something's got to give, and working out is what gave. Because I'm just like, there's just no way it's going to fit. Like, I need it to be only maybe like 3 steps where it's like, wake up, walk my dog, make coffee, then start work. Like, it can't be too many steps.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. And I also, my sleep schedule is like whack. Like
As in,
I
you don't sleep.
I like to work until like 7 a.m. and then I like to go to bed because and it's
What?
not healthy like at all, but I just like work better at night and it's like not good. My parents are like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "I'm fine," but I just
Is it
can't.
because you get like really energized with what you're doing and you just can't go to sleep? Or is it that you're just more productive?
Sometimes like sometimes I think that there's just less distractions again because I do like, I do have a small team of interns and like everyone's like doing their own thing and it's great. It's just like my phone's always someone's always texting me. There's
Yeah.
always something to do and sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone
Yeah.
literally and I just want to do my work. And
Yeah.
so that time for me is like, okay, no one's gonna bother me.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I get that. I understand
It's
it.
not healthy. I do
No,
not recommend
I,
this to anyone.
I mean it's funny because it was like during quarantine, like my schedule was kind of off as well, but like I would 4 a.m. is where I draw the line. And like usually where like my body's just like, okay, we've got to like do something differently. But the reason I would work that late is because I'm so excited by what I'm
Well,
doing.
I mean, that totally usually is like usually when I'm working that late, it's like either I'm like creating a new like design type of thing, like something came in and I'm like trying to see what I could do about it, or I'm like redoing my website or like, all like my ongoing to-do list. Like there's one thing that excites me and I'll do that. I was just like listening to whatever my body wanted. I was just honestly just listening to my body. And so
Yeah.
if I have energy at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like I'm gonna work.
That's when you're gonna
And
go for it.
that's
Yeah.
when I should because what's happening is even if I sleep at 12, even if I sleep at 4, I'm still waking up at the same time. And so I'm like doing less work. And makes no sense.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, if I have energy, like I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's like no there is no right way to do things. If you're someone who does fine without a schedule, then just like keep doing that. But some people like need structure and then I know especially for me like now being in the more entrepreneurial space where I'm creating my own schedule, I need to hold myself to some sort of a routine.
Oh, for sure.
Otherwise I'll just kind of get caught up in things or like I'll just like either keep working or just not start working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I just got to give myself some sort of
Yeah.
structure. So you're home and you are working like crazy. And what are you working on? What's coming next for Denim Rush?
So I think I'm gonna launch a holiday collection next week.
Okay, wow. Literally next week it's like
I think. Um,
I love the
and
spontaneity. I'm getting the spontaneity from you and I
I
like it.
I was just like, I'm gonna try some designs out tonight. If they look good, I'll launch them next week.
Okay, so
Um,
launching a new collection, what does that mean for you, for your brand? Is it like you use social media as a way to promote
yeah,
your Okay.
yeah. Essentially, just like put it up on social media.
Yeah.
I think our bread and butter are sweats. So regardless of
Hmm.
what I launch, people want sweatpants. So
Yeah. Also, can I just ask how have sweats have been literally the hot item for the past
yeah, they
6 months?
have, they have. So yeah, like we launched like slip dresses and button downs, and while like those products are great, people just want sweats. So
Yeah. Nobody
so
wants to be wearing a button down while
I
they're
know.
at home on a call, you know?
Exactly, exactly. So we launched like our solid sets, and now I think I might launch like some holiday sets, just like 2 colorways, just like for the holidays. I don't know,
Yeah. I think that's a great
something
idea.
cute and fun. No, I mean we'll see how it goes. I need to be. This is the other thing. Like I need to plan more. That's like
Yeah.
literally I know I need to plan more now that I'm
Yeah.
other people who are like depending on what I plan. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, I should probably plan better. So I'll figure that out tonight.
Yes. So, what have been some challenges that you've encountered kind of being out on your own and starting your own brand? What are some like things that you've learned along the way?
Um, a lot,
Yeah.
like so much. I think that like understanding customers and kind of like you might know, like you have intuition, but then also there's like the reality and kind of like
Yeah.
not being afraid to look at reality, because that's something that I always like, I would lie to myself all the time and I'm like, this is doing you no good. Like, why are you doing this
Yes.
to yourself? You should look truly at the reality of things.
Right.
And then like learning, you know, like literally supply chain, like when should we be ordering, like how does all of this work? Like we're a smaller brand and we have no data to go off of, so it's kind of just like
Yeah.
it's very just sort of hit or miss. So
Right.
figuring that out, and just like kind of trying to streamline everything, because on like my website's in like hosted on like 7 different things, so like putting everything
Yeah.
on Shopify, like just literally working through all the kinks, and like
Yeah.
we're learning a lot about like influencer marketing and you know just like what works, what doesn't work, how to track all of that, like who should we be working with.
Yeah.
I still believe in partnerships, so we're like we
Yeah.
just sent a bunch of stuff to Miss USA for like their pageant that's coming up, so we'll be seeing those
Amazing.
sweatshirts around. Yeah, and then we have like an Indian collection that's coming out,
Yeah.
because I've never really done anything Indian, so, and obviously I'm Indian, so like,
Yeah. So that's really exciting. Are you like, is that something that you've wanted to do from the beginning? You're just kind of like,
no, we've been working on that for like a year.
okay,
So,
okay.
so that was like a process. That's the other thing with sweats, like with stuff that are easy to like make,
Yeah.
it's fine. And like my strategy, everything that I do is made to order, and like I try to, since I hand paint everything, all of our inventory is always white, so their opportunities are endless
Wow.
because they're really in your hands. And like
Yes.
that was something that I wanted to, like the whole fashion industry with the inventory, and like it's a shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like let's say, knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but let's say like
Right.
no one's buying anything. Okay,
Right.
I have a bunch of white stuff. I'm sure I could like do something with it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I could sell
Yeah.
it back. I could like liquidate faster. Like it's totally fine. But it also gives you freedom to reinvent all the time because you're the one who's doing it and who's
Exactly.
making it and who's figuring it out. You're not waiting on other people. You're not like, you know, that's why it's like you're like, oh, you're spontaneous. I'm like, well, it's right here. Like I already have everything. I might as well.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're working with a partnership, you know, you have to respect their time and how they operate. And like,
Right.
obviously it's not sweats. These are like high-end Indian clothes that take the time, that we had to figure out what we were doing. We had to design everything. We had to send them to India. We had to get them stitched. And I'm
Right.
working with this company called Holy Chic.
Okay.
And
I love it.
I know, cute name, right?
Yeah.
So
Very.
they have been doing so well during COVID. They grew so much, and they're
Wow.
basically for like your Indian American woman who
Okay.
like wedding stuff or like festival stuff, or like they also have like ready to wear stuff. So we
Yes.
wanted to kind of like really just hone in on this like artist collaboration and kind of like talk about like hand craftsmanship a little bit.
Yeah.
So like this is, I feel like collection is like a really cool integration between like American culture and Indian culture.
Yeah.
So this took forever, but it like turned out really good, and we're hopefully launching that in the beginning of December.
Okay.
So that'll be good too.
And so what market are you launching that to? Is it the American and the Indian market? Are you both kind of like using both of your lists?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cross
promoting. Yeah.
Yeah. Since they are a little bit higher end, we want to see, like Indians are used to spending that much money on Indian clothes. So
Yes.
we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because they're like kind of your statement pieces. So
And so are they sweats that you're like?
No. They're like Indian clothes, full on for Indian design.
So not sweats at all anymore.
No.
Okay.
Not sweats at all. So they are all hand dyed like pieces. Like I hand dyed all the fabric, and then
Wow.
we we designed the pieces and they got them stitched with their tailors, and they worked through all of that. So it's
Wow.
yeah, I think there's a picture up on my Instagram if you want to
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to
give you a
like.
little bit more perspective on what it is.
Yeah. Did you ever think when you were in school for interior design that you would be here like
No, I always
designing and
laugh
working in
about this.
fashion?
I always laugh about this because I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is not what I went to school for. I mean,
Yeah.
I love interior design, and like, it's still something that I
Yeah.
in my future,
Okay.
as I learn and grow, learn more about how to be like an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
understand um, different things. Like Denimrush's focus is art. Like as much as it is a fashion company,
Yes.
it's about art, and it's about like putting color on things and like kind of how that changes your mood and like your perspective on things. Like that's what art does to a room in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
taking that sort of and putting it onto clothing, which is just a different canvas.
Yeah.
So like it'll all somehow all
It'll
integrate.
all merge into this
It'll
beautiful
all
career
merge
that,
together.
yes. So you do think though in the future that you're going to incorporate interior design into your
Oh,
life.
for sure.
That's okay. So that's a really cool, that'll be a really cool pivot for the brand, I think, you know?
Totally. And I think that I mean like we painted shoes. Like that's not necessarily apparel, right? Like you can really
Exactly.
put art on anything.
Yeah.
Right? It's sweats because we all need to be home and like be comfortable and like
Right.
that's our vibe.
Right.
So I mean it's just art. Like it's painting, you're just putting color on things. And so once experiences start up again, I'm sure that like
Yeah.
we could be working with a luggage brand. We could be working with like any lifestyle brand.
Yes.
Like it doesn't. It's endless,
Right.
With like a coffee shop, what if we're like customizing their coffee mugs as
I love it.
there's literally it's endless. You can do whatever.
That's the possibilities really are endless, and I feel like what's really cool about Denimrush is that it's like a brand that has taken so many shapes. Like you do customization and activations and experiences, but then you also create products. So it's like your brand has become like a chameleon.
Oh my gosh. What do people want and what works, right?
Yes.
Big part of it was like, how am I creating this custom experience online? Like you can
Yes.
still customize any product that you're purchasing. It's all made to order. So it was like, okay, people can't go into stores now. How can I create this like experience online? And like, how am I doing that for them?
Yeah. What's some advice that you would give to like people that are entering the fashion world in this COVID time? You know, especially for these people that want to pursue design.
Yeah.
It's just a weird time to be entering really any industry, but like specifically fashion. You know, I've talked to a lot of students from Kent and, you know, students that are graduating soon, and I think they're kind of worried, and rightfully so. I mean, we're worried. So what's some advice that you would give them?
I think you just have to look at where people are. Like if something that if you want to start your own brand, when you're starting something, are you offering something completely new? You can't just say I'm looking at it from a different light. Like the thing is, you have to look at your customers. What you find is so interesting, they don't give a shit. So like, what are they really looking at, right? Like what is something that is really adding value to their lives? Like, are you using different types of material? Are you being sustainable?
Right.
Like, what are you doing that is making it so unique that that person needs to have it? Because at the end of the day, it's a luxury to have a lot of clothing.
Yeah.
So why must someone buy your shit?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like a lot of, like, even me, you know, like when I first started Denimrush, it was like my ego that was kind of like, these jackets need to be $300 because they're hand painted, and like, if like Ralph Lauren or like, you know, Balenciaga can do it, why can't I? Well,
yes.
Ralph Lauren and Balenciaga, and they didn't start, they've been there forever. Like, they're a legacy brand. It's not the same as you just starting off and kind of being like, someone's going to buy this for $300. Like, that's
be realistic.
Yeah, that's not exactly. It's not the reality. Like, one day you can do that, but like, you can't. Why should someone trust you? Like, we're in an online world. Why should I trust your website to put my credit card information in your website to purchase something? Right. You know.
Yeah.
So you have to build a community, and so So once you build a community, you have like you'll know why you're putting out the content that you are putting out, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
And like also just start. Like just start. Because you're gonna hate your first product. Like
right.
I look back at some of my stuff and I'm like, whoa, like why did I ever launch that? But like you don't learn unless you launch it, because
yes,
everything that you do is theory until you do it.
Exactly. So just start. I feel like that's been the best piece of advice that I've heard and I've given, is that like first of all, there's never going to be the right time.
Exactly.
So if you're waiting,
and it's like people like it's too late. I'm like, okay, but if you don't start now, it's going to be too late for something else.
It's going to be too later. So it's like you might as well be too late. And then there's also just no such thing as too late when you're pursuing your passion. If you're doing something you want to do, there's no such thing as too late. And I just feel like during this time, like when we're spending a lot more times, in our homes and just being a bit more reflective, it's a good time to figure out what you want to do and to just do it. Like, stop planning so much. Stop I feel like there's just a lot of people that are like, well, if I have it all mapped out, sometimes just take the first step and then it'll snowball. Because you
think about it this way, this was a piece of advice that I got. Think about like the taxi industry, right? I'm sure that they had like a 5-year plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They had everything mapped out. And then Uber came. Like, they did not anticipate that Uber was going to come. They did not anticipate that rideshare was going to be a thing. They did not anticipate any of that. So there goes their 5-year plan. And then there goes all the time you spent on that 5-year plan.
Exactly. So I like to wrap up every show with what I call a shot, which is basically something small but strong and powerful that you want to pass on. And you've just given us some like really good pieces of advice, but what's one shot that you would give? And not just to people that are in fashion or in design or the experiential world, like just to people who really want to take this leap of faith and pursue their passion.
You have to learn to live in the chaos, because it's always going to be chaotic and it's never going to make sense.
Yeah.
So if you don't learn to live in the chaos, you're just like going to beat yourself up all the time over shit that no one knew. So like if you're an entrepreneur, you're never going to make the decision with all 100% of the chips in your hand. You're going to have maybe 50, and you're just going to have to you just have to make that decision. This is the time. You got to do it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I feel like if you don't learn to live in the chaos, you'll end up stressing yourself out, because you'll try to fix the chaos, and there's no fixing the chaos. You just have to live through it.
Yeah.
I like that. Live through the chaos. Live in the chaos. Yeah. Embrace the chaos.
It is. And I think that's with COVID, like no one knows what's going on. Just like stop trying to figure it out. Just like live in it.
Right. Yeah. We literally have no idea. Trying to figure it out is only going to be more stressful.
You're gonna have anxiety because like you won't know the answer to that. No one does.
It's so true. I love that. Well, I am so excited to see what you do next and to hopefully see this holiday collection that you launch next week.
We'll see.
We'll see. So where can people, if they want to find you or find Denimrush, where can they find you?
You can go to our website, www.denimrush.com. It's getting a facelift at the moment.
Love it.
Facelift will probably be live in like a day.
Okay, so maybe wait a little bit to log in.
It'll be.
Or by the time this goes live, it'll be
alive.
Okay.
We'll be good.
Okay.
And then you can follow us at Denimrush, and then you can follow me at aparna.a.
Love it. Thank you so much, Aparna.
Thank you.